Hi everyone, it's me Pixel Cadet. I've been recently working on a new project that is slightly different from what I've been doing in the past, and it involves electricity, some microcontroller, and something that requires a lot of soldering. And I learned that soldering requires a lot of things apart from the solder tool itself. One of the essential requirement if you want to start soldering at home is to have the fume extractor, because I read that fume that was produced when you are soldering something, it's really harmful. And because I don't have a fume extractor for that, I'm using this fan that I have lying around. I think it's a heatsink that I bought a while ago for some 3D printing project that is never see the light of day. So yeah, I've been using this as a makeshift replacement for the fume extractor, and all I need to buy is this filter. It's a HEPA filter I found on Amazon, and what I've done is I just tape it together like this. But then as you realize it's wobbly, it's not stable, and it's tape, and this is not the most tape friendly surface. So I think in this video I just want to take a quick detour and create something simple to house these two things. Okay, time to assemble them all. But before we start assembling them, I think there is one extra step that we need to do, and that is to take out the fan guard that comes with the fan. I already took out the back part. Now I need to take out the front part also. So I'm gonna take this off. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Let me know if we can get something cool with it. Lastly, before we start putting all the stuff together, we also need to check which direction should the fan facing. We don't want our fan to blow out the fume instead of sucking it. So I'm just gonna put my hand like so, and we know that this is the back part. Apart from that, there is also something that I want to add, and that is this two soldering hand that I have from my old soldering station. So here are all the 3D printed parts for the solder fume extractor. This red thing will be the casing. Printed this using Overture PLA with 50% infill. I printed them in two parts so that I can easily mount the fan inside. Last thing I also add here is I created 4 holes, and the idea here is that I make them a bit flush, slightly smaller, and try to embed those 4 bolts into these 4 holes, and this will be the 4 position where you can screw in the soldering hand that I have. And if you wonder what are those tiny parts at the bottom, I think the best way to know about it is just by following the video, and we'll talk about it at the end. I think the first thing we can do now is try to glue this piece right here. Make sure it sticks like so. I just need to make sure that especially the back part is clean without there is nothing that will obstruct the filter path later on. I think the key here is to find a good balance so that it's not too much that it overflow, but also not too little so that it won't stick. Okay, so now I think I'm just gonna leave it there to dry. We left it dry for quite some time, and I'm quite confident to proceed with the next steps. Now all we need to do is start putting the fan inside the casing. Okay, sitting flush, just like I told you.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
No. I hope it's not too flush so that I cannot open it anymore. Shoot, I forgot one thing. We need to insert the handle here, like so. And the reason we need to put it first, and I stupidly forget about it, is because I'm using the fan to also hold the handle in place. So now we can put everything back together again. Now it should be much more easier to put in. Let me know what you think, if this kind of flush fitting is necessary, or I can increase the tolerance a bit more. But now it's working. The handle works nicely. You know what? Maybe let's test this out one more time and see if the fan is facing correctly. Okay, yeah, I can feel the air, which is great. Right, now what we can do is first wire the notch so that it goes on the right side. And the reason why it needs to go on the right side, because I put the notch like so. Now we just need to press it a bit, create the cable so it fits nicely. Now we can add the 4 screws back. Alright, seems like it's connected nicely. The handle is too short, cannot put my hand inside, but there is nothing I can do, I guess, because I want to make sure that the handle also sits flush at the back. Right, casing is done. And I guess you know by now what I'm trying to build here, because this big opening looks like a mouth. I think it just looks funny if I add teeth as ornament. I guess you guys can kind of already guess it from the beginning of the video, and there is no point for me to kind of create an unnecessary suspense. But anyway, casing is done. I'm quite happy with it. I know what I need to do to improve it a bit. And now we can insert the HEPA filter. As you see here, I created a slot at the top, so the idea is that I can easily insert and take out the filter whenever I want to. This one, I think it's necessary to make it flush so that the friction will help to keep the filter in its place. I think this is something unnecessary, but I just thought that because I'm using red filament for the casing, add some teeth. I think there is only one thing that can top it off. As a cherry on top, I create a filter cover. It will secure the filter in place, and I add horn as an ornament so it looks more like an oni. I also added this 4 notch here because I think we need to add this friction pad that I have. Maybe this is another trick that I think could be useful for you. If you bought all your parts from one vendor, say Amazon, or maybe you can just bookmark every part that you bought. Sometimes you don't need to go ahead and measure everything for each part when you are designing. All I did is just go back to my recent purchase and see the specification there. Most of the time they will give you a really exact specification with measurements, diameter and stuff, and it actually helps me a lot and saves a lot of time for me rather than just going back and forth using my caliper to measure everything. For some important parts I still need to do it and double check, but for something simple like this you don't need to. Anyway, friction pads are added and ta-da! yeah, it won't move. Let's add the soldering hand. Turn it into like an L wrench, and there you go. Looks like a character from Adventure Time. Alright, it's time to test it out. By the way, I'm using Fantic wireless solder. It has, you know, a dial here to adjust the temperature, and all you need to do is just press and hold, let it heat, and you can tell when the light goes green, it means that it's already heated up. Now the fan is off. I'm gonna test and see if we can see the smoke first. I don't know if it's easy for you to see the smoke. And now let's turn on. What's nice here, there are also multiple speed. There are 3 different speed. Let's try from the lowest. See if it actually do something. Yep. Which is good that I can also conserve some electricity. So that was the video. I'm gonna call him from now on Sucking Oni, and I hope that this little guy will help me a lot for my upcoming project, because I'm gonna do a lot of soldering, and I hope that this little guy will save my lung. Let me know what you think of this build, and also if you're interested to build something similar yourself. I know that this is slightly different from what I normally put out on my channel, but just let me know, leave a comment in the comment section below if you're also interested to build yourself one. Anyway, that was the video for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.